the pushback to that might be that persons have been accustomed to getting one specific drone from DJI that is able to cover a wide range of applications, whereas now you're looking at one tool for this. And to be fair, we've seen DJI go in that direction as well because they've done a lot of separation with what their drone models are allowed to do now. But now you see you're gonna have that more of an issue now, whereby you're gonna have to have one drone for this purpose, another drone for this purpose, because based on what I've seen, there aren't that many manufacturers that can make drones that cover as wide a spectrum. And top of my head, I could actually probably think of one, maybe two that cover as wide a range, and then you add the price factors on top of that, you're looking at multiples the time to get less ability.
Yeah, I'm okay. I hear what you're saying, but let me paint the picture a little bit different here.
Right.
I think if someone is dependent on one kind of system, then they are going to make themselves irrelevant. And the reason I say that, and I'm not trying to be harsh, you need to be able to be diverse in terms of any system or application that is thrown your way. Because guess what? Here in the States, sometimes projects, we can't even use certain systems. We have to use something entirely different. And if you can't use a different system, guess what? You don't have that job. You just lost all that money, or not even going to make that money. But honestly, I think, and this is where DJI is really smart, because they've been slowly getting us used to, okay, well, I got to buy this system for this one, this system for that one, this system for that one. They've been training us pretty well for the last, I would say 6-7 years. Because if we look all the way back when they had the Phantom line and the Mavic line, right? We're all now just accustomed to a Mavic style drone because they just fold out and it's great. To be honest, I think the engineering is a little dumb on that. I'd rather have something that's kind of fixed, because there's so many just weak break points. Granted, I haven't broken any of my systems, but you have a ton of different points of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very small. But at the same time, DJI has also invested hundreds of millions of dollars into research and development to be able to manufacture their own camera systems. Obviously, they have the collaboration with Hasselblad. They broke ties with FLIR, because obviously FLIR is now a Teledyne company here in the States.
Yep.
And now they then had to manufacture their own thermal-based imaging, sensing tech. And so they've gotten us very used to and accustomed to buying multiple systems. Because if you go all the way back and you look at the Mavic 2 line, they had all of their consumer style. So they had the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom. But then if you wanted something that was enterprise, that had thermal capabilities, they had their M2E, which had a little thermal camera and a little RGB camera on it. And I think you could put like a beacon, and there's also RTK capability as well, because RTK was kind of newish to the market. But that was also like an $8,000 or $9,000 drone.
Yeah.
Which they've kind of followed suit with $8,000-$9,000 thermal drones ever since the Mavic 2 Pro or Mavic 2 Enterprise. And then they came out with the Phantom 4 Pro RTK edition, which was several $1,000s more than the regular Phantom 4 Pro. And then they had the multispectral variant. Right? And so all of those were fixed cameras. You couldn't swap the payloads out. And now, if you look at Autel was actually trying to go the other route where you can swap out payloads, which, was still the same Mavic style system, fold out arms, whatever, but never really caught on because everyone got so used to DJI. And again, we're talking 6-7 years ago at this point now, maybe even longer. I don't know. It's been a while. Then obviously they came out with the Mavic 3 lineup. There's 8 different versions of a Mavic 3. Mavic 3, Mavic 3 Classic, Mavic 3 Cine, Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 3 Pro Cine, Mavic 3 Enterprise, Mavic 3 Thermal, and Mavic 3 Multispectral. 8 different Mavic 3s, all with different purposes. Obviously, 5 of them were more for like the photography and cinematography side, and the other 3 more for enterprise. But guess what? If you wanted to do multispectral, well, they kind of cheated a little bit because their multispectral one can also do mapping, but you also lost the capability of that telephoto lens. So you could either choose the enterprise or the multispectral. And then if you wanted thermal, then you had to buy the M3T.
Yeah.
Right? But the M3T can't do mapping properly. You could do it, but you don't have the mechanical shutter. So now right there, you're about what, like over $12,000-$13,000 in, plus batteries, call it $16,000 in. That's a lot of money, and that's two different systems. Where if you wanted to upgrade the payload, you couldn't. You would have to buy an entirely new system. We just saw the same thing happen with now they call it the Matrice line. So now the Matrice 4E and the Matrice 4T. And now they have the dock versions, right? So if you want to do mapping, you have to get the M4E. If you want to do thermal data collection, you have to get the M4T, right? And then if you want the IP rated ones, well, guess what? The batteries don't work from the M4E and the M4T in the dock versions. The dock versions are the IP rated ones. So guess what? Now you just completely made it very complex. And to make matters worse, if you wanted the cinematography drone, which I just picked up the M4 Pro recently, those batteries are not interchangeable. So completely different battery setup for the M4 Pro line and completely different setup for the Matrice line. They did this on purpose. And I tell people DJI is really a battery company that just happens to sell drones because they make a killing on their batteries. They really do. Those drones,
the price point,
I know they're very subsidized, but so this is why I try and advocate for and want to start advocating for these new systems, because guess what? This drone that I built behind me cost me about $1,500, but now I can modify and put whatever payload I want on there. I bought a used a mirrorless camera that's on there. It's 24 megapixels. It's already 4 megapixels more than the M4E. Granted, I know it's not an M4E. I know it's way bigger. It doesn't have all the capabilities of it, but maybe I just need a system that just maps. Maybe I don't need all of these other fancy, really cool features, which granted, they are freaking awesome. I love all the stuff that the M4E does. But if 95% of my projects are just mapping, why do I need to pay for all those features that I most likely won't ever use? So what if you could build a system that over time, guess what? A new mirrorless camera comes out. And so it makes the price of maybe the higher megapixel one even cheaper.
Right.
All I have to do is spend maybe $1,000 or $1,500 for a new camera. I just put it in there. It's pretty much already compatible with the entire ecosystem that I have customized for my specific use case. Same mentality around these other manufacturers that are coming out of, well, okay, maybe they don't have this specific camera, that specific camera. Well, for the most part, you can integrate whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, the drone is just the drone. It's the payload that you put on there that is going to help you provide the service that you're trying to provide to your client. So if you want multispectral, LIDAR, methane detection, if you want to do multispectral, a thermal, whatever you want to do, you can integrate it onto your drone. And a lot of the third-party like payload manufacturers that are not DJI, but there's tons of companies that make sensors. The drone is just a vehicle. You put whatever sensor you want on there, and you can go and collect data. And that's where I see the value in companies outside of DJI that are building these systems. They're never going to be as sexy. I shouldn't say never. They won't be as sexy for DJI for a while, right? They're not going to look all nice and in your packaging and all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I need something that functions for what I need it to do. Looks are just a bonus. So that's my feelings around it. Yes, it can create some complexity for people, especially if this is the first time that they're getting into it, but you get used to it. Once you know how to fly, some of these third-party systems, you can fly just about anything. DJI really made us like very accustomed to the way that they did things, and they did a fantastic job at doing it. I give them props for it. To kind of just wrap this all up, I think like diversity is the most important part, especially when you're getting into this. I know starting out, you can't just go dump money everywhere. But over time, I encourage people to be more diverse in the tools that they invest into, because it will make them a better service provider, because they'll be able to offer services that, other people and other service providers can't because of that diversity that they have.